Alright folks, so we're still looking for a good all-purpose small game load for rabbit and squirrel hunting. We want a load that we can simply go to the store and buy and use it for both animals from multiple distances with multiple chokes out of multiple guns. Today we're trying some Fiocchi Goldern Pheasants. This is a 20 gauge load. It has a 2 3/4 inch shell with 1 ounce of number 5s in it, and it's moving at 1,245 feet per second. Now, it also is a nickel-plated lead shot, and of the 6 loads that we have purchased for this test, this is the most expensive. So hopefully this one performs. So we'll be using the same 2 shotguns that we've been using over the last 6 weeks. The 2 20 gauges. Let's go up to the table and we'll check them out, and then we'll come back down here to the range and we'll shoot this and find out whether these things are worth what we paid for them. Here we have the Fiocchi Goldern Pheasants. These are 20 gauge shells. We'll be shooting our 2 20 gauges here. Here we have our Stevens 512 over and under. It has a 26 inch barrel, a 3 inch chamber, and it has a improved cylinder choke that we measure at 610 in the upper barrel. Above it here we have a Remington SPR 210. It's a side-by-side. The left barrel has an improved cylinder choke that we measure at 605, and these also are 26 inch barrels. So let's head down to the range and shoot us some Fiocchi Goldern Pheasant and see how it patterns. We have here a Remington SPR 210. This is a side-by-side 20 gauge. It has a 3 inch chamber. It has a 26 inch barrel. And in the left barrel here we have an improved cylinder that is choked at 605. We have a 12 inch bullseye target set up at 20 yards, and that's how we're going to pattern this load. So let's shoot it and see what we get. That's a very tight shell in that chamber. Ejected fine though. Alright, let's see what we got. Alright folks, here we have the target for the Fiocchi Goldern Pheasant, shot out of the Remington SPR 210, the side-by-side. And it has a improved cylinder choke that, according to my measuring, is choked at 605. But our performance here from 20 yards was not very good. In this 12 inch circle, we only have 50 pellets. That is about 30% of the load, because that load should have 170 pellets in it, being on 1 ounce number 5. This is a very thin pattern. There's no really big holes, no holes big enough for a rabbit to have got away, because it doesn't take a whole lot of pellets to take out a bunny. But it's very thin. It would not be my first choice. We have here our Stevens 512. This is a 20 gauge with a 3 inch chamber. It has a 26 inch barrel, and the over barrel of this over and under has an improved cylinder that is choked at 610 according to my measuring. We have a 12 inch bullseye target set up at 20 yards, and we're going to pattern this shot on that. Alright, let's see what we got. Here we have the Fiocchi Goldern Pheasant. This was shot from the Stevens 512. It has an improved cylinder choke that I measure at 610. We have pretty good performance here out of this gun and this choke combination. We have 77 pellets out of the possible 170 and 1 ounces of number 5s. So we have good coverage, no rabbit sized holes. That combo of the Fiocchi Goldern Pheasant and the Stevens 512 with the improved cylinder factory choke was a pretty good combination. So I wouldn't have any reservations about using this for rabbit hunting. Alright, so we brought our targets back up here to the table to get a little closer look at them. Here we have the target from the Remington SPR 210. We only had 50 pellets in here, which is 0.9% of the load. We have no bunny size holes, but we do have a real thin pattern here. They were rather disappointing for what we paid for these loads. We paid about double what we paid most everything else. So here we have the Stevens 512 target. We have a pretty good pattern here. We got 77 of 170 pellets, or 45% of the total load here. So these golden pheasants and this Stevens 512 with the improved cylinder choke, that would be a pretty good rabbit load. So that would definitely be the shotgun I would use. I would use the Stevens 512 with these Fiocchi Goldern Pheasants. Well, the Fiocchi Goldern Pheasant did mediocre. The side-by-side didn't perform very well at all. The over and under did about average, about what all these other loads have been performing. So, as far as for rabbit hunting, the golden pheasant is just average at best, and at worst, it's not good at all. So, until next time, y'all stay safe in the rabbit woods, and God bless. And a good news bee who's telling me something